Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love these watches, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this or any of our watches. Today, we are discussing a model of extraordinary beauty made in 188 pieces in steel for the 2021 model year from Girard-Perregaux. This is the Laureato Eternity. What makes it special is the flimke enamel dial. So we have guilloche, and then over that, a translucent layer of Grand Faux vitreous kiln-fired enamel. Quite beautiful. It is also the iconic sports watch of Girard-Perregaux and one of the original integrated bracelet sports watches, having debuted back in 1975. This is a long-lived model line, predating the Nautilus, the 222, and the Ingenieur SL. So, 42 millimeters in diameter. It's pretty thin for its class, at 11 millimeters thick. From lug to lug, if we just count the case, it is 49.3 millimeters. If we include the first link on each side, the total rigid distance across the wrist is 52.2 millimeters. But note that the lugs are downturned on each side, so this mitigates any fit issues you might expect on a watch of this size. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and I wear the watch well. I'm confident you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and it would both look and fit outstanding. Taking a look in profile, with a stepped case and a thin total height, it will slide underneath the dress cuff. And this is a slightly dressier Laureato. The one shortcoming it has versus a standard Laureato is no loom, but it has every other feature. Now the bracelet's integrated. You can see that there's a bevel that runs end to end across the case. That continues down the shoulders of the primary links. We have polished intermediates, and you can see that it tapers down from the lugs towards the clasp. Removable links are fixed using screws, and you can see we have an intermediate link in case you're in between sizes on each side, so you can fine-tune the fit. We have a twin trigger clasp. You can see double folding. It is a sequential close, one side before the other. The logo closes second. You have to press both of these triggers to open it up, so it's not going to fly open even during vigorous activity. The case is satinated in profile with longitudinal brushing. Then you've got the polished bevel. Then you've got transverse brushing across the lug hoods. You've got a screw-down crown, 100-meter water resistance. Note that the shape of the bezel, one of the iconic Girard-Perregaux design elements, is echoed on the faceting of the crown. And then on the dial, we have the profile of the bridges from the tourbillon with 3 golden bridges, the other Girard-Perregaux design icon. And if you look, the indices as well as the hands, and certainly the counterweight to the seconds hand, borrow a little bit of the profiling of that tourbillon with 3 golden bridge design. Everything on the dial that is not enamel is bright polished. You can see the logo, the dart style indices, the hands, all mirror finished. I'm going to do my best to get light on this because it's the kind of thing that's easier to see with an eye than a lens. We have this spectacular guilloche pattern radiating out with rayon in every direction, deeply textured and explosive. The idea here being that the convergence lines look like a tunnel or a path that extends to infinity, the point of infinity being underneath the hands at center. The watch does feature a hacking seconds function, which I will demonstrate now. Stop the seconds, synchronize to a reference time. Let's just see where we are here. Yep, I always check. Don't want to try to use a quick set during the date changeover. We also have a quick set system for the date. And you can see in good taste, Girard-Perregaux has used a green disc with silver printing for a green dial, and it uses these lovely open 6s. Now the dial is a guilloche base, so it's cut on a traditional lathe by a guillocheur, and then up to 20 firings in a kiln at 800 degrees centigrade produce this smooth and glossy glass enamel surface in translucent green. Quite beautiful, a craft art, and 2 craft arts really between the enamel and the guilloche itself. Now you can see 1 of 188. We have that transverse satination across the case back as well. And Girard-Perregaux caliber 1800. Now, a lot of people know caliber 3300, but that's a relatively small movement at 25.95 millimeters in diameter. This right here is 30. It's a more modern caliber. It was designed in the 21st century, whereas the 3300 was designed in 1994. So this better fills a large case back. It's also a better looking movement with a longer power reserve. This is automatic winding with a 54-hour reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate, a 28 pivot joules, you can see. Its architecture is quite attractive as we have this lovely bridge for the mainspring barrel. You can see the ratchet wheel has been mirror finished, and the barrel cover features extraordinary solarization. You can also see that the bevels here are broad, mirrored, rounded, and extremely attractive. Really nicely done. Stripes in linear fashion across the bridges and then in circular fashion across the rotor. You can also see the edge of the rotor has been handsomely beveled. We have satination on this little cover to a assembly adjacent to the winding click. You have a little click wheel right there. And then we have the mainspring let down and the crown release. And the watch includes engine turning on the base plate, and all screw heads here are polished. A really good looking movement and a true manufacturer caliber. In particular, the bevels are a real treat. What sets this movement apart, a combination of handsome architecture and fine decoration. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.